Slime Rancher 2 is a sequel to, well, Slime Rancher 1, where Beatrix LeBeau raises a farm of, well, slimes. As you begin, you have lots of land where you can do a variety of different things: grow crops, make storage, you can have a chicken coop, and a variety of different enclosures for your slimes. I say this because I see pond and the incinerators as places to house slimes too. I went with one of the enclosures so that I can, snag up some money makers. Venturing off, I ended up running into the familiar pink slime that we're also tired of having everywhere in our way. I snagged it up because, you got to start somewhere, and why not? Now, I took so long exploring the inside of the farm to kind of get the layout of everything that by time I went out, it was actually night, where you can find a different variety of, well, night slimes that might not be coming out during the day. So I ended up snagging one of those like philosopher slimes, and I merged the pink and the philosopher slimes together. Pretty much you just have to feed one a plort of the other, and it will be combined both of them into one, which makes really cute combinations. And of course, I had to make sure that I hurried up and got plorts for them so that I could upgrade my enclosure with night protection so that they were safe from the daytime, as well as making a higher wall and with a net so that they couldn't float out. Now, it's a really good idea to pair two different slimes together that like different kinds of foods. So, like a meat with a fruit, or a veggie with something else, so that you're able to feed those slimes, have a constant stream of something to feed them anything at any point in time. Like later in the game, there's a slime that only wants nectar. I don't really know how to regularly get nectar, so I'm pretty sure I paired it with like a veggie or a fruit slime so that I could just give them that instead. And the same thing with meat. I always have a problem with going and getting chickens and letting them end up like turning into elder chickens and dying. So I always pair my meat ones up with a fruit or a veggie. Now, by giving the slimes their favorite food, you'll actually end up with double the plort. So it's good to grow on your farm or regularly collect those slimes' favorite food. Now you can check your Slimepedia and it will tell you what their favorite food is after you run into that one. Now, plorts, you have to go to this board that you have in your farm and you shoot them into this hole, and that's how you sell them. But while looking at the board, you'll see that it's pretty much like a market. You'll see that some plorts will go up in price, some will go down. So you can get storage and keep your plorts and sell them when they're high, keep them when they're low, kind of like watch the market. Or like me, you just throw them all in there because you need money right then and there. Now, my farm quickly filled up while I was essentially trying to collect all the slimes that I could, because if you go down into your basement, which I thought was interesting, is where you can find your refiner and I forget what the other thing is called, but you find those things to where you can upgrade your gear, have a more space, more health, more stamina, things of that sort. So I was like focused on getting all the things so that I could, upgrade my gear so that I could go do more things. Now, I hadn't really ran into any questing like in the first one. There was an area to where you could call and talk to a couple people, but they didn't really give you any jobs. I did unlock two new areas within the map so that I could find more slimes. And what it was is there's like giant versions of the slimes, and you just constantly feed them like their whatever choice of food that they want, and then they end up exploding into like tiny versions of themselves. And then sometimes there's like uh food or chickens, coins, things that fly as well with that. And most of the times they're either hiding a special item or they're hiding like a certain area that you couldn't get into before. So I ended up, clearing a couple of those, which led me into more places on the map. And then I also ended up splurging and buying 2 new areas in the farm because I quickly ran out of area, so I needed more area so that I could have more enclosures and more places to grow, food and vegetables and things of that sort, and by unlocking those places, I also found, more places that grew in those maps, um, food. And then I think the one place had chickens too. So it was like, oh, there's just going to be random chickens popping up here. Now, I have to say that the map is really confusing. It's really like you could go in a circle and think that you're progressing, but going into a circle, you're like, oh, this kind of looks different. It's very intertwiny. So, like, I was getting really confused going places that I was trying to go before, but like going backwards, but going forwards, but getting lost and then finding new places. And it was, I don't know, the map was really confusing. And then you had to find these little terminals to unlock them on your big map, and I don't know if there's a waypoint system or not to where you can pin things on the map, but I couldn't figure it out. So it was hard to find your way back home. Um, so between that and not being able to find water easy to fill up my tank, I feel like those were the my two big issues. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed this game. So I really want to thank the devs for passing this to me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I hope that all you guys enjoyed my review today.